Ready?
That thing off.
I'm just saying, I don't want to keep starting. That's what I'm
Exactly.
Get the guy.
Did you want to say, do the moments of silence since you know him?
I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, why don't you do it during your...
We can do it in the work session. Yeah.
Sounds good.
I'll do it in the good minds up.
Ready?
Okay, the more clock, yeah, another minute. What does your clock say?
6:31.
Yeah.
TikTok.
You ready? Okay.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the Co-Star, the official newspaper of the Borough of Belmar, and the Asbury Park Press on January 3rd, 2023, and notice of this meeting was posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building. Take roll call. Councilwoman Donovan? Here. Councilwoman Kinney?
Here.
Mayor Buckafusco?
Here.
Councilwoman Rondinero?
Here.
Councilman Levis?
Here. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's have a moment of silence for our armed forces and our first responders. And tonight we have two individuals, Piera Mistrema, who was a Belmar merchant who recently passed away, and also Joe McAvoy's father. Thank you. Okay. Let's start with our workshop. Does anyone have anything in particular they would like to start off with? Or I can start.
Oh, if you'd like to start, Mayor, it's up to you.
We have the best practices checklist on the agenda. I think April, we're just acknowledging that we received that, is that?
Yes, it's already been filed with the state. We just have to acknowledge on the record that you received it and reviewed it.
Okay, how do you want us to do that?
Just
I received it.
Yep. Does
You wanna go down?
Does anyone have any questions about
Any-
it, or? No. No?
No questions?
That's all we need.
Okay. The second thing I wanted to bring up was, I think it was at the last meeting or the meeting before, we had spoken about the trap, neuter, and release program for the feral cats, and we have reached out to the Monmouth SPCA. We actually received a memorandum of understanding from them, which we will be signing, and they're excited to have us on board with them. The way it seems to work is we also, part of the agreement with them is that we will have volunteers as colony caregivers, because what happens is once the cats are brought to the Monmouth SPCA and they're neutered, the cats are given back to the colony caregiver, and those cats would stay in that particular colony. And there's apparently some kind of a reporting requirement. I don't have any details on that, but the way it works is Monmouth County SPCA actually splits the cost of the neutering with the borough. So at this point, for example, we would be responsible for $37.50 of the $75 total cost. And what we could do is then we would set a limit of how many cats we would neuter, in a year, so we would know how much money we're potentially going to be spending that year. So under this agreement, there would be a limit of 100. So, in terms of what we would spend, the most we would spend would be like $3,750. But we'll learn more about that, and we'll probably also be reaching out then for individuals to become colony caregivers, because that is an essential part of the program. And I believe he said he would he was gonna come and do a little presentation.
Yeah,
Mr. King this morning.
Russell Citra runs the SBCA, and he'll come in and do a town hall meeting to explain to the residents exactly how the program works, what's required for the colony caretakers, and the documentation needed. So they'll come in, we'll set a date, and they'll come in and do a town hall for the community and talk about the entire program.
Yeah, we'll find out. I'm assuming it's most likely gonna be a council meeting, or if necessary, we can just do a special town hall meeting to have
Either
people
way.
come. Okay. Anyone else,
I have
on the
something.
workshop?
The Environmental Commission would like to have someone come in, Mike Beeson, to do a presentation about a program we would like to recommend that we adopt. A one-year pilot program that would be plastic film recycling. There would be no cost to Belmar or individual residents in the first year. A company called Unwaste comes once a month to your residence and will pick up the plastic film. When I say plastic film, I'm talking about things like the plastic your bread comes in, like those thin plastics that we still get, even though we don't do plastic bags at the stores anymore. And it'd be once a month. They take the plastic film and they turn it into other objects like benches, things like that. The idea is not only is this good for getting the plastic film out of all of our houses, but also it would also hopefully lower our costs a little bit because those plastics wouldn't be going into our waste. Other towns that have done this include Ocean, Bradley, Matawan, and Red Bank. After the year, we would have to decide whether or not we'd want to continue it at cost to us with DPW participating. But right now, the BEC request would be to have Mike Beeson come and do a presentation here so that residents can ask questions and we can make a more informed decision.
Okay. Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, that's a good program, by the way. That's something Claire Hayner was talking about. I literally dropped my film off at her house, and they make benches, and I just always thought it would be a good idea for Belmar to do something like that, so that we could have free benches around town or whatever. I just think it's a good idea, so I like that.
Great.
I do have one thing. Rocco Cavalusa and his wife Anya, they were the residents who started the program, the donation program at the library for the Ukraine, people. Last year or the year before, Rocco got in a very bad motorcycle accident 2 weeks ago. So let's just all keep Rocco in our prayers. He's been in intensive care for the last 2 weeks. So let's just pray that he pulls through and makes it through this. It was a really bad motorcycle accident. So let's just all keep him in our prayers. Thank you.
Okay, I would like to just maybe take something a little out of order. We have an ordinance on tonight, a first reading. We normally don't speak about ordinances on the first reading, but I think this one, should have a little bit of explanation for the council at least. Ordinance 2320 is the ordinance that generally sets the fees for the beach badges. In years past, and again, I don't know when it was changed, but that setting of the beach badge fees was done by resolution. In fact, there's a remnant of that old law in this ordinance that says it shall be set by resolution, even though the top part of the ordinance sets the fees. So, it's a little confusing. So what we're doing here is we want to go back to setting the fees by resolution, so that every year, if we want to change it, or every so many years, we don't have to keep doing an ordinance. So this ordinance tonight basically is amending section 18-2.5 fees and charges to take out references to the actual dollar amount of the badges. And basically, and the storage locker fees. So basically, that's all it's doing. And it says that, we will by resolution set the fees. Now, having said that, we're anticipating an increase in the fees, but that will not be able to go into effect until January, probably January 8th, because we can't do the resolution while the ordinance is still in effect, and we have to have the first reading and the second reading, and then we have to wait 20 days. So we're anticipating that the resolution will be passed on our January 2nd meeting to go into effect on January 8th. Now this kind of creates a little bonus situation for people who want to get their badges early, because the proposed new fees for the badges are as follows. Right now, the season badge is $72. As of January 8th, it's going to be $80. And we're including that $2 fee, so it's just a straight $80. The senior badge right now is $30 plus 1, but in January it's going to go to $32, so that's a $1 increase. And the daily badges, which obviously we don't buy in advance, but I think we will be anticipating an increase in those up to $12, which is consistent with what our neighbors charge. So the badges will start being sold when, December 1st?
Yes.
They will be sold at the current price, $72. So if you want to save $8 on a season badge, I'd say get them before January 8th, or $1 on a disability or a senior badge. Again, get it before January 8th.
Christmas presents. There you go.
So I just wanted to explain that because it might not be clear from just looking at the ordinance why the change. Okay, so that's the change. We will be putting up some things on Facebook and around the building, letting people know of the anticipated increase. So any questions on that?
No, Mayor, I noticed there were some redundancies removed from the ordinance as well regarding veterans badges.
Yeah.
So we removed a section, and then because it was already in there, contained in the.
Say that again?
So we're striking out section E, which is the section that waives the fees for veterans.
Right.
It's already included in the exemptions under section K. So
Yeah, it was redundant. Yeah, it was redundant, so that's why we got rid of it.
At first, when I first read it, it scared me a
Yeah.
little bit. But,
Yeah, it's a little bit of a mess, that ordinance, and we're trying to clear it up and make it a little clearer for everyone.
Section F was also removed because it was redundant.
Right. So slowly but surely, we'll get everything to make sense. Any other questions on that? I think that's all I have for workshop. So let's move on to our petitions. Any petitions?
No, I did not receive any.
Okay. Approval of the minutes.
Can I have a motion to approve the October 24, 2023 minutes?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, Councilwoman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilman Kinney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckafusco?
Yes.
Councilman Rondenaro?
Yes.
Councilman Levis?
yes.
Okay, reports of council. Councilwoman Donovan.
This Friday is the tree lighting. It starts at 5:30, although I heard that the chorus will actually start a little earlier than that, so if you'd like to be there for the entire thing, maybe aim for 5:15, 5:20. The candy cane hunt, if it is canceled, I should say, because of rain, we'll do it on Saturday, but the candy cane hunt, which is new this year, will go on regardless. That starts at 6:30. If there is rain, you can pick up your candy cane paraphernalia at the courtroom, along with a little map. This is new this year. This came up, this was an idea that happened in our tourism commission meeting 2 cycles ago, and has been very popular very quickly. We've had 160 kids sign up. We can't bring in any more because the stores had to buy the little presents ahead of time. But we're really pleased with how popular it's been, and it's great for our businesses on Main Street to have that type of foot traffic. So, Christmas light show will be on December 9th and December 17th. That's in Piano Plaza, and there will be a menorah lighting on December 11th with Cantor Gabrielle Clisser. I'm sorry, I have the name wrong here. From the Monmouth Reformed Temple, and if you want to participate in the home decorating contest for the last day is actually Monday. We do need more homes to sign up, so please, if you're so inclined, come on down and sign up for that.
Okay. Councilwoman Kenny.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I wanted to congratulate Kate Donovan on her election. Since last time, we have not had a yes. Congratulations. Thank you. We've been here for a while. We should have an election, so there's that. But congratulations, Kate. It's always a pleasure sitting next to you. We also had a lovely Veterans Day service on November 10th, where we were able to honor all veterans who showed up, and the beautiful banners were up on just in time, right, for the veteran service, so that was awesome. The ADA committee, we did have a meeting on 11/16. We updated the resource guide. The resource guide does have a lot of information, and the committee wanted me to remind everybody that if anybody needs information on government or county agencies, all disability agencies, you know, the blind and handicapped, family, school resources, transportation agencies, recreation, sports agencies, the resource guides are at Borough Hall, at the library, and also online. Circle of Friends wants to remind everybody that their Ugly Sweater Party Holiday Hop is Wednesday, December 10th. And they're always looking for kids for service projects, to donate their time to help with their events. So if you know of anybody who needs service projects, and like all the St. Rose High School kids always need time for service projects, for any, any kind of service projects, high school kids, they can always go to help out at the Circle of Friends. The Shade Tree Commission met on November 9th. They wanted to let everybody know that their website is updated and complete. We did get a new tree logo, which is actually fabulous. It was donated by our wonderful Belmar resident artist, Suzanne Annan. She drew a beautiful logo for the Shade Tree Commission, so check that out on the website. The commission is in discussion with Millennium Strategies for potential grants for next year, and they are also working on a 5-year proposal, and they would like to be presenting that at an upcoming council meeting as well, so we'll look out for that. Recreation, youth club signups are still ongoing. That is youth club on Saturdays. Just a reminder, youth club is for Belmar and Lake Como residents only. Basketball signups are ending soon. That season, I think, begins in the next couple of weeks. And about the house decorating, Belmar Elementary School. 6-week enrichment programs at Belmar Elementary School before and after school, 12 different classes, including, but not limited to, photography, cooking without fire, and friendship bracelets and sports. So that's really all action-packed at Belmar Elementary School. Belmar Elementary also recently started a year-long e-sports club before school. Their youth government day is December 7th, and the winter concert is December 14th. And last couple schools, St. Rose High School, their 100th anniversary gala was a resounding success. We went to the event, it was awesome. Over 400 people showed up. It was pretty much sold out. The 50-50 winner got $8,500, so I wish it was me, but it was not. That was a good 50-50. The high school and the grammar school want everyone to let you know that they're getting ready for all their winter sports. The basketball season is starting soon. We're very excited. One of the seniors on our current boys basketball team at St. Rose High School just got signed to Villanova, full ride. So real exciting sports at St. Rose High School. This Friday, St. Rose High School's theater production Murder at the Art Show. It's their first attempt at a dinner theater program, which sounds exciting. I'm going. Visit the website and purchase your tickets online. And lastly, we blanketed a lot of businesses in town with our skate park signs for donation. You might have seen posters in some of the businesses in town to donate to the skate park. So we're working hard on getting donations, and that is all I have.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Rondinero.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to congratulate Councilwoman Donovan as well on her election win. I feel grateful to continue to work aside you on the council, and you work so hard, you're such a talent, and we just really appreciate all that you're doing, so thank you. As you stroll along Main Street, you'll see the beautiful veterans banners along the light posts. This was a borough team effort for sure, but I'd especially like to thank Tom Mirabella and the team at Wingman Printing in Belmar for such quality banners. So many of these pictures, when they initially came to us, were wallet-sized or faded. And the family members would say, oh, I don't know whether we can use this. And they said, no, we'll figure it out. And they touched them up in a really careful way, allowing the photograph's beauty to be preserved. I know a lot of people have asked, when are we going to open again for applications for our next round? And as soon as I know, as soon as we can talk about it, I'll let you all know. But I hope it's something we can do for years and years to come. It was a very meaningful program, and I'm proud of it. So thank you to everyone who was involved in this, because it really was a team effort. Also, the public library is excited to announce 2 holiday season events. This is the first Christmas concert that they're having with the Doppelflaut, which is a musical duo specializing in flute and piano organ concerts. It's not just heard, but experienced. The evening's program will feature several modern classical pieces, a selection from the Nutcracker Suite, 2 sing-along sections of popular Christmas songs, and they'll close out with a special rendition of Silent Night. They'll actually bring this Orgel Kids wood pipe organ, which is going to be assembled there and played. The audience can volunteer. It's really fun. I saw the person who was is doing the organ part of it before with the library, and it was very interesting. I honestly went in thinking, I don't know what this is going to be like, and I left thinking, I cannot wait to go to this concert. So, like refreshments will be served, that is December 6th at 7 p.m. Taylor Pavilion. Registration is required, and you can register on the library website. The second event is the Children's Christmas Movie Party, December 8th at 6 p.m. in the library. Families are invited to bring their children to the library in pajamas and blankets and watch a classic movie, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. We did this last year. It was a great success. It's held on the main floor. It feels really cozy. And after each movie, or after the movie, each child will receive a holiday treat bag with a drink and snack as they leave. And that you can also register on the website. Finally, the library is pleased to announce a new addition. They have a 24/7 virtual library where they have a free New Jersey driver's permit test prep. And that's with permittestpractice.com. And the patrons can use this online service that has unlimited practice tests. It's completely free. They have flashcards, cheat sheets. So it's a really neat service that they have. And all you need to do is go to the website and go to the service menu, and you will find that link there. Finally, for the library, you might have seen online, they are having a pet shelter holiday gift collection. They're collecting items in support of the Associated Humane Society and Monmouth County SPCA animal shelters. Needed items can be found at local pet supply stores or on their Amazon wish list or Chewy.com. And donations can be dropped off at the library Saturday, December 9th from 9 to 2 and Sunday, December 10th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Any more questions, you can visit the website or call the library. The Belmar Housing Authority, the residents were offered a Thanksgiving dinner to all the tenants there on Thanksgiving Day. The repair in elevator 2, and that's the freight elevator, is scheduled for next week. That repair will take 1 day, but the main elevator is scheduled for repair the second week of December, and that's going to take about 7 weeks. So we'll have a working freight elevator while that one is being repaired. The next meeting for the Belmar Housing Authority is December 4th. Lastly, as we continue in the holiday season, please consider shopping locally. We all want a thriving business community, but it's hard for our small businesses to stay afloat, especially during the winter. They need our help, so please come out. So many of our businesses are having sales. So many, are offering gift card options or, having individual pop-up shops. I know the Women's Club is still having their gift auction January 17th, so you can find out more about that. The Belmar Historical Society is having a pop-up shop as well, and if you didn't get your Belmar Sesquicentennial commemorative ornament, you still can. You still can get it. December 9th and 16th from 1 to 3 at their museum on E Street. I look forward to the Candy Cane Hunt this Friday. Also, if you haven't seen yet, tap into Belmar Lake Como is having their annual holiday contest for free beach badges. The contest is, the person who could shop at the most places, and you get a receipt from each place that you go. They can win up to 4 beach badges. Last year, we had someone come in first place that got 4, then we had a third place, 3, and then 2. It's really fun. You don't need to go and get something expensive. You get a cup of coffee, just remember to keep your receipt. And at the end, you can keep them all safe. You can win a beach badge. So anyway, shop local, Santa is watching. And speaking of Santa, I think our chief has an announcement about him.
Good evening, everyone. Santa will be arriving on Wednesday, December 13th, to go around Belmar and Lake Como to deliver gifts to the children of the residents in town. We're scheduled to start at 4 p.m. If you are a Belmar resident, the gifts are to be dropped off between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. at the Belmar Police Department. There'll be a sheet for you to fill out with the information on the gifts. Just make sure that the child's name and address are clearly written on the gifts so we can make sure that Santa doesn't get any mixed up. And then if you are Lake Como residents, they can be dropped off at Lake Como Borough Hall, the same hours, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Council President Levis.
Thank you, Mayor. While you're shopping at some of the local businesses in town, keep your eyes open for the boxes of wrapped toy donations, unwrapped toys. So they're actually, Belmar PD and the Friendly Sons of the Shillelagh are doing a toy drive. They're looking for unwrapped toys, books, or games for children aged 2 months up to 19 years. They'll be at the local businesses, or you can drop them off. I think we have one here in Borough Hall. And they'll also be at the Shillelagh Clubhouse at 16th Ave, so you can drop them off there. The Harbor Commission meeting was last Tuesday. I want to thank Harbor Commission Chairperson Bob Lynch and Vice Chair Roy Childers for the hard work they did in actually setting marina rates this year. They met separately after the Harbor Commission meetings to go over the rates, reviewed rates in other marinas, looked at our wait list that we have for the marina. So the rates that we're going to be voting on tonight really reflect their hard work and effort in making sure that we can really maximize the revenue we're getting out of the marina. So it's really good to work with those guys, and they did a fantastic job getting this done in time for us to approve it at this meeting. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. I just have a brief announcement. I never realized that so many events occur in the first week of December. And had I known, I wouldn't have scheduled my vacation for this week. So I'm not going to be at the tree lighting or all of the other events that are taking place in the first week of December. Related to that is, should this meeting go past 8:30 tonight, I'm going to pass the baton to Council President Levis, because I'll be leaving. So with the council's approval, obviously. So I just wanted to let you all know that. Other than that, I have nothing else to report.
Oh, actually, can I just say one more thing?
Yeah.
I just also want to remind everyone that Medicare open enrollment is going on right now. If you're on a traditional Medicare plan, highly suggest you still take a look at your Part D plan, that's your drug benefit plan. Those plans can change from year to year. Your needs might change, your plan might change. It's a good time to do kind of a healthcare audit and see if there's a better plan out there for you. So just a little public service announcement. Thanks.
Okay, Helen.
Who?
Helen, just be an inside joke. Chief, go ahead.
Mayor, can I just make a public
Yes.
service announcement? We did post on our Facebook page today. There has been another uptick in vehicle burglaries and home burglaries. They're now happening during the day, during the night. They're entering homes. So we put something out on our Facebook page today. I cannot stress enough for you to lock your cars, take the valuables out, make sure that your homes are locked. If you have outside lights, security systems, make sure they're up and running, make sure the lights are on. I have all my outside lights on in my house, and it's a little annoying because they're bright, but it's a safety thing. So just want to get it out there that it's happening. Last week in Seagirt, Wall Township, it's everywhere. So just please, take precaution and lock your vehicles, lock your cars. Don't keep any valuables in your vehicles. Thank you.
While we have you here, I've been meaning to email you on an issue, and I might as well just bring it up. I've noticed, especially where we put the new 2 stop signs on Inlet Terrace and River Road, and it just happens I walk my dog there pretty frequently. It is really amazing how many people don't stop at stop signs. And some people slow down, and some people slow to maybe 2 miles an hour, and some slow to maybe 10 miles. So it's like more of a yield for a few people, but I've seen people just go like right through. So, whatever, I think we need to let borough residents know in particular that we're gonna really start looking at people going through stop signs, because there's no point in having them
Absolutely.
if people aren't stopping at it. And I'm sure it's that way throughout, throughout the town. So, I mean, I think, especially in preparation for the summer, when we blame all of the people who are coming here, our visitors for running the stop signs, well, we're guilty of that ourselves, and myself included. How many times we do the New Jersey stop, when they call it, you just roll through the stop sign. So, maybe we can do something about that. But I just thought I'd bring it up.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, I guess we're on to public session on the consent agenda, resolutions.
Yes, if anyone would like to speak on one of the resolutions listed on the agenda, please step forward, state your name and address.
Eugene Kramer, Fourth Avenue. First one here, resolution authorizing payment of bills. I noticed there's, since you mentioned SPCA before, it seems to be a recurring charge on here of about $1,300 or $1,400 a month. It's listed as dog licenses, but see, like I said, about $1,300 or $1,400 a month. Is that a payment to Monmouth County SPCA?
Yes, that's for our animal control services.
Okay, then I'm talking about the right thing here. And I guess the collection of dog licenses is supposed to go towards that, be spent, covered at $1,300 or $1,400 a month. I've noticed the last couple of years, actually since the pandemic, that the population of dogs in town apparently has gone way up. At least that's my observation. Do we collect enough in dog license fees to cover that $1,300 a month charge?
No, our dog license fees are $13.20 or $16.20, and we only have about 90 to 100 dogs licensed.
We don't even have enough to pay for 1 month. It sounds like.
Yeah,
Like what we're saying.
that's what it sounds like. The other thing, Belmar deregulated cats about maybe 5 years ago. I noticed that Lake Como, where our police department also patrols, they still do regulate cats, and licenses are required. Now we're, the program that you were talking about here, fixing the cats, should we be looking at licensing of cats like we historically have done?
That was suggested to us by the SPCA, that we reinstate the licensing program.
And I'll just add, obviously, the council can take that up. We can think about that, and, if the council wants to do that, we certainly can start licensing cats. So maybe we can put that, discussion on for the next meeting at the work session.
Do we know why we
Whether or
stopped
not
doing
we
that
should,
5
maybe
years
at the
ago?
beginning of the year.
We only had less than 5 cats registered, so.
Doesn't let
I mean, I think the
them
other issue is probably enforcement.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Knowing, even the dogs,
A lot of people don't let their cats outside, so
Right.
you don't know they have them.
Right, but it's something that we could definitely take up.
Yes. Well, I have cats, they're killing songbirds in my yard. I know a lot of municipalities in the state now, if you feed a cat, you own a cat. It seems to be pretty effective, at least at getting these people to get tags for cats. Otherwise, how do you know a stray cat from a cat that belongs to a resident? Anyhow, food for thought, and now that we're going to be potentially taking on another animal service here, I guess that brings up another question. With the fixing of the cats, would that only be done to cats that actually are licensed here?
No, they're not, my impression is it's not for licensed cats, it's for feral cats. So, you know, cats that are not licensed, that are wild, they will take them. And I think if it's a type of cat that they, or a kitten that they think they can, you know, keep in the shelter and perhaps, you know, get someone to adopt, they will do that. But if it doesn't meet their criteria, they will give it back to the person, you know, who's taking care of that colony, and they will be responsible for feeding that cat. The numbers are phenomenal. When we have the presentation, it's just really unbelievable how, you know, how like 20 cats in so many years can have, you know, you can have a huge population explosion of cats. So it's really important to get it under control before we're dealing with an overabundance of feral cats.
Yeah, it used to be a bigger problem. People would come down here in the summertime and they would have a cat and then they'd go home in the winter.
Yeah.
And then we had cats all over the place. In any case, just food for thought, and I saw that we have a recurring charge here already.
Yeah.
I wanted to comment, resolution 228, shared service agreement with the Board of Education, that we're going to be selling them gas at $3.50 a gallon.
That was
You
adjusted.
changed it.
That was prior.
So there was a revision to that resolution after publication. So the resolution that we're voting on tonight for that is based on the same gas fee that we used to charge the marina. So it's not $3.50.
Okay.
That would be a very bad rate to charge.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
there's the bargain.
Yeah, that's been adjusted. So.
But then again, who knows? Next year, the price of gas may go through the roof again. Okay, but they're not bound by that, are they? In other words, if they want to go to the gas station at 16th and Main, they can fill up there, right?
Yeah.
No. Okay, so they're not bound. By the way, except for the municipality itself, I guess Belmar is down to one gas station within our municipal borders, and that's at 16th and Main. And I know that site has been remediated. You can tell because the pavement is crumbling. It seems that with all these remediation jobs that they don't consolidate the soil very well, and the asphalt surfaces that break up in a matter of months. Anyhow, we're down to one gas station in town, and gee, I remember when I first moved to Belmar, there must have been half a dozen gas stations on Main Street. One other question here. Resolution 239, permission for dedication by rider for affordable housing trust fund fees in the borough of Belmar. I guess this is to establish a trust fund for affordable housing development fees.
There will be a dedicated fund.
Okay. Who would be the trustees?
It's the normal staff that has access to the bank accounts. So it's usually the CFO, whoever her backup is, myself, and usually one or two council people are authorized signers on all the bank accounts.
Okay. From what I understand about this affordable housing trust fund, that all the people who have contributed money to the fund, they are to be identified, and it's supposed to be available as a public record as to where all the money in that fund had originated from.
I would think so. I mean, it says no reason why it wouldn't be public record.
Okay.
Mayor, I
All the
can
transactions.
look into that, but that, all accounts are gonna be audited and subject to public inspection.
So we don't think it would be subject to public inspection?
No, it would be.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Is there any way that a donation can be made to that trust fund?
you just have from a resident or from
Yeah.
anyone, just,
Yeah.
that I don't know. I don't know that can, we'd have to look into that.
Probably. Okay, if somebody wants to do that, we'll certainly take the money and put it into the account. If somebody's gonna give, we will
Yeah.
handle it just like we handle any gift.
Right,
It
right.
would be earmarked for affordable housing and it would go. I suppose that's the way it would happen.
And we could always double check with our auditors to make sure there's nothing, that would prevent that. But I agree with,
I can't imagine anything would prevent it.
right. It's a trust fund, it's a dedicated fund, so that money would go right into that fund and only be used for that purpose.
Yeah, and I guess we're looking for actually approval to, everything costs money. In other words, setting up the trust fund. I believe by state law, isn't the percentage amount limited to something less than 25% for the administration of the trust fund?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
But I could take a look at it, but I wouldn't think that we would be spending 25% of the affordable housing money on administration, but I'll take a look at that.
Yeah, but we don't have any money now, so anything that's added to it would be.
Well, I think it's being handled by people who are employed by Belmar right now, so I don't know, April, do you have any insight on that? I don't.
Yeah, it would just, I don't know about administrative fees. It's whatever fees the bank charges to maintain the account. Like, we have all of our accounts with the bank, so whatever they charge to maintain our accounts would, I think, the only fees that would be coming out of that.
Okay.
I mean, I can kind of answer that because we did the same thing. We did a skate park dedication by rider account, and it didn't cost us anything to open the account.
Okay.
I think the question was, though, legally, is there a cap, and I'll take a look at that.
Right.
Right?
Okay, thank you.
Alright, nobody else? Alright, can I have a motion to close the public session?
Motion?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, so Councilman Levis asked to pull resolution 2023-231 from the consent agenda. So we'll vote on that one first. It's a resolution appointing a fire administrator. Do we have a motion and a second?
April, before we, let's just note for the record that Councilman Levis is recusing himself of this because he has a conflict. And I discussed it with him. It actually is the person that's being appointed, actually appointed his wife and his wife's sisters as the Grand Marshal of the parade. And just to avoid any kind of look of quid pro quo, he's stepping down, as we say. Yeah, abundance of caution, so he won't be voting on this.
So can I have a motion to approve resolution 2023-231?
Motion.
Second.
Councilwoman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckfusco?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rondonero?
Yes.
Next, can I have a motion to approve the rest of the resolutions as listed on the consent agenda?
Motion?
Second?
Councilwoman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckfusco?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rondonero?
Yes.
Councilman Levis?
Yes.
Alright, next we have first reading and introduction on ordinance 2023-19. This is ordinance amending and supplementing chapter 40 development regulations of the revised general ordinances. This is the ordinance that was presented and discussed at a previous meeting by the, from the planning board. So do we have a motion to offer it for first reading and introduction?
Motion.
Second?
Councilman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckafusco?
Yes.
Councilman Rondenaro?
Yes.
Councilman Levis?
Yes.
All right, and last one is ordinance 2023-20, ordinance of the mayor and council of the Borough of Belmar, amending and supplementing Chapter 18 of the Borough Code, Section 18-2.5 fees. This is the ordinance that was discussed during the workshop to amend the beach badge fee ordinance. Do I have a motion to offer for first reading and introduction?
Motion.
Second.
Councilwoman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilman Kinney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckafusco?
Yes.
Councilman Rondenaro?
Yes.
Councilman Levis?
Yes.
Great, and that's the end of the agenda items. Now is public session. If anyone would like to speak, please step forward, state your name and address first.
Anita Pecorelli, First Avenue. Councilman Rondenaro, can you elaborate on the elevator at the Housing Authority? Is it a freight elevator? Is it the safety features?
So the second elevator, the one that I said was going to be next week fixed, is the freight elevator. That has apparently something that is simple and can be done in a day. The main elevator that really needed the full modernization is the second one, and that's gonna be the second week in December that will start. It'll be a 7-week time span that it'll take.
Okay, so my actual question was, the freight elevator.
Yes.
When you say freight elevator, I don't know much about elevators or anything like that, but is that safe for the residents to be in for 7 weeks? You know, we're talking about 92-year-old people that have to ride to the 6th floor. Like when I think of freight elevators, I think of like furniture and, you know, like, I don't know. So is it a safety, is it a real safe elevator?
That's what I'm hearing, that it will be safe enough to use on a regular basis. I don't know as far as the safety of it. I couldn't say yes or not, but yes, I've been told that is a safe option. And that the superintendent there will help anyone who needs help with the freight elevator.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jim DiOrio, 217 8th Avenue. Quick question about the ordinance on pool houses. I'm on the zoning board, and we get a lot of requests to convert a garage into a pool house, an existing garage. So my question to you, is it intended that somebody will be able to convert all or part of a garage into a pool house?
So one of the reasons this came to the planning board to look at it was because the previous zoning board from last year felt that there were a lot of requests, so it was something that we should have on the books so that there could be an option for it.
Right, because you define garage separate from a pool house.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you could have a situation where a pool house is a garage and a garage is a pool house, and it's one structure.
Potentially, yeah, that would kind of be up to the zoning board to determine when people.
Well, I'd
come
like
with
to get,
applications.
I'd like to get a little direction before, you know, we're on the spot to make a decision. And somebody said, then that's not what was intended. I'm trying to find out from the council what's intended. Can you convert a garage, partition part of a garage, and make it a pool house and put a half bath in?
Yeah,
I think that'd be a question for a planning attorney or a zoning board.
Well, I'd like to have it answered before you pass the law, and then you have somebody else has to interpret it.
Yeah,
That's a fair question.
The current ordinance, the definition for garages says that it can only be used for storage of vehicles. So the intent was to add this ordinance in to allow pool houses, and it could be you could have a garage and a pool house as long as both meet all the
Because
zoning criteria.
People, and there was an exception made 2 months ago, and you know, where the person had a 2-car garage and they partitioned off part of it to put in a bathroom that they got a variance for. So we called it a bathroom in an existing garage. So my question is, what's the intent? Is it a freestanding, do you have to take your car out of the garage and partition that spot to make it dedicated to humans only and no cars? Or you could,
The actual ordinance says a one-story ground level detached accessory structure. So I'm assuming when it says detached, it means it's detached from everything. So a pool house is a pool house, a garage is a garage.
but you could have a two-car garage and this,
And a pool house.
in the same structure.
No, it says here that it has to be a detached.
No, so you have a detached
Detached
two-car
from the
garage,
Yeah.
and I want to turn one of the bays into a pool house.
But the pool house is attached to the garage at that point.
No, but it's considered.
I think it means detached from the house.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about.
No, that's the,
was-
April is right, that's a supplemental structure,
Right.
accessory structure. Because we
I
have.
guess my other question then would be the devil's advocate, what's the difference? If the pool house is taking up one bay of a two-car garage, what's the difference? What's the difference between me having a one-car garage
Well,
and a pool house?
the difference is, if you call it a pool house,
Mhm.
you can get a half bath, which a lot of people in this town want.
But you have to have a pool.
Right.
So what's the difference? If I have a separate pool house, so I take my two-car garage, I knock down the one bay, and then I build a pool house next to it.
No,
I've accomplished
you
the same
take, no,
thing.
you take one bay out and turn it into a dressing room with a half bath. That's my question.
Yeah. Jim, I think the point of it was to alleviate the burden on the zoning board for having to have
Well, I think you're gonna create more of an issue because it's not clear. I think what you need to do is come up with some of the scenarios, because people are gonna wanna convert a garage into a pool house. Believe me, I have a couple of neighbors
Sure.
who are looking to do that, if they could.
Yeah.
But we've told them so far, no, you can't.
Well, and what we've told them was they would have to go get a variance from the zoning board to be able to do that.
Right.
Nothing existed, so now by creating this ordinance, something is defined, so now they wouldn't have to go to the zoning board for approval to be able to do something like that.
But, yeah, my point is, by definition, you have a garage defined and you have a pool house defined. You haven't defined a combination garage pool house, and that's my point.
No, I think it's a good question.
It's all about defining the terms, and I don't think the terms are defined properly to avoid more confusion.
I think
That's my
I think
point.
that's absolutely.
That's
fair.
why I was saying the definitions are there for a garage and a pool house, and when the zoning officer sees that, if the structure meets all of the zoning criteria, he would make the decision whether to approve it or send it to the zoning board.
I think the question comes down to whether or not the two, can you have a garage and a pool house adjoining each other with a, pass through between the walls, that kind of thing, under one roof, and actually be one structure. I think that's what you're
Yeah,
getting.
and
That's the question.
we granted a variance on just that situation,
Yeah.
where the person partitioned part of their garage.
My view of the ordinance would be that would be permitted. I don't know how Ted Bianchi would look at it. And that's, I understand your position, because we get into a situation where Ted starts defining what things are, so.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking, what was the intent of the council in coming up with this
Yeah,
ordinance?
whether or not you should have a garage separate from the pool house, and what the mayor was saying was, I think, what's the problem with combining them if they're separate, this part's a pool house, meaning you probably can have like a bathroom, right? That would be your pool house and a recreation area, that kind of thing. And then the next area next to it would be your garage where you put your
Well,
car
and
in, or
there's
your
other-
bike or whatever.
There's other issues with fire rating the partitions between the garage and, quote, living space, the pool house
But
part.
that would be a construction issue though, right?
Right.
I mean, that wouldn't be something that you guys would be dealing with.
Right.
You only deal with uses, so.
So you're saying, come January, February, somebody says, I wanna
I'm
convert.
saying I understand your question.
No, I want to answer. Somebody's gonna come to the zoning board when this gets out, and they're gonna say, I'm gonna convert one of my bays into a pool house and put a half bath.
Right, and that's what I was saying, if the application they submit to the zoning officer meets all the different criteria in the ordinance for a pool house, for a garage, setbacks, coverage, everything like that, then
So
we would
you-
approve it.
So you're saying you could have both in one structure?
Right, yeah, as long as it meets all
Okay,
of the
that's-
Or
requirements.
maybe it should be defined, cause just so it's clear.
No, I mean,
I agree. I think it should be made clear. I don't think it should be up to somebody's,
Yeah.
like, well, we thought it would be. I mean, I would rather it say, a pool house must be a separate structure and and then do it this way. Or you can say the alternative, or pool house must be a separate structure apart from any garages on the property. And then for sure, the pool house is separate.
I think there's a market for converting garages to pool houses.
So the question though is, what do we
Convert your
want
bed.
to permit that?
Right.
That's the question.
Well, the
That's
other,
why-
the other issue you run into is you have a parking requirement. So if you don't comply with the parking requirement, the zoning officer's not gonna let you take out your garage to make it a pool house and lose parking, if that,
I'm for keeping things simple. We know that you can have a garage, and I would just leave it at that. If you want a pool house, that's something extra. You have to build a separate pool house.
Okay.
That's my opinion. Instead of like mixing.
So when the first, permit comes through or variance comes through, can I come back to you?
No, I think it should be changed. That's my suggestion. Maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't think that was the intent of the planning board when
well, that's the problem. We don't know now. We're sitting here, we don't know what the intent is.
Well, but
So that's a problem.
So that's the thing about public debate, is we're not in a rush to get this.
Yeah, no, I
law,
just-
so
Maybe it needs to go back to the planning board and let's,
I'm not against that.
we can divvy it up and say, we need to make a decision. Are we-
Yeah, I mean,
are
the
we gonna
simple
let it-
question is, can
Yeah.
an existing garage be
Exactly.
converted to a pool house?
Right.
well, the
If
planning
they-
board
if
does
they
have to
answer that, then we have no problem.
Right.
It does go back to the planning board for review before we have the second reading and
Okay.
public
Well,
hearing.
then,
So we can discuss it
my
then.
view is to leave a little up to the imagination. Basically, if we want a separate pool house, we have a separate pool house. If we want to allow it in a garage, then we should say, and by the way, you can also have a pool house in a garage.
Okay.
It should be up to interpretation, he's speaking, please.
I'm making a point
No,
of order.
please sit.
Let me make
Please sit.
a point of order. It has to
You're out of
be-
order.
This is
You're
a
out of
point
order.
Let me
I'm
make
not
a-
listening to you, please, sit down.
Listen, we
We
have
have
to make a
someone
new
here who's speaking.
designation.
In 2 seconds, I'm gonna ask you to leave. Please sit.
Oh, my
Thank you.
God.
Okay, maybe just go back to the planning board.
Yeah, I think
and ask
we
them.
can iron that out. at the
It's all
planning
about
board.
intent, that's all.
Yeah, that's a good point, though.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Okay,
To
thank you
keep
very
things
much.
as clear as possible.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Tom Dilberger, 1,000 River Road. There's another route to this thing, I believe. Make a new designation. And this is all I want to say under a point of order, and I would have sat down. You didn't have to make a big deal. You could have let me make the point of order.
Excuse me,
But it's
we
already
have
done.
rules here where if you want to speak before the council, you come up to the mic and you get recognized. No one can just get up and start talking, whether they say point of order or any other.
Oh, yes, they
Any other
can.
phrase.
Yes, they
No.
can.
No, they can't.
Yes, they,
Okay. But why
yes,
don't you
they
say what you
can.
want to
That's
say?
Robert's Rules of Order, Council.
It may be Robert's rules or
It
not,
is, and that's
but
what
the
this
way we
runs
handle
at.
things here is that we have somebody speaking and they go and they're allowed to speak uninterrupted, and we don't have that kind of situation because you have the ability to stand up next and talk, and then that person has the ability again to talk. So we don't have to go through Robert's rules. to
Yes, you
accomplish.
do.
We don't
Yes,
do it
you
that
do.
way. We don't.
You're
do
out
it
of
that
order,
way.
Counselor.
Rule me out of order. It doesn't
You
really
are out of
matter.
order.
Thank you.
You're making a mockery of this thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're using your position to make a mockery of it.
No, I'm using my position
No,
just to
you're not.
continue on the way we always have.
Stop.
Why don't we find
An
out
older
what,
man, stop.
What is your comment?
You have
Right.
the floor.
All right, let it go, Counselor.
We're here to hear your comments.
One
Everybody's,
last word, me.
Mr. Dilber, you have the floor, and now you're gonna be antagonistic towards me.
Yeah,
So
because
that's
you want a
fine.
last word, me.
That's fine, just,
Just be quiet, Counselor.
excuse me, we have a certain amount of decorum, Mr. Dilberger.
Yes, you hear
Mr.
that?
Dilberger.
You hear that, Counselor?
I hear it, Mr. Dilberger, do you?
The thing is,
Do you hear it?
You're the one that's in question here, not me.
Excuse me, I'm gonna read something to you.
Please don't read to me.
Excuse
Please
me.
don't. That's horrible. Don't read to an
You are
8-year-old
being
man.
personally offensive and abusive. And you're also making impertinent remarks to the attorney, and you're actually conducting yourself in a boisterous manner. So,
Oh, yeah, well,
and
speak loudly.
in about 2 seconds, I'm gonna ask you to sit down or leave. Now, please make your comment now to me.
All right, Mr. Mayor. What should be done with this pool house garage thing, I think, is make it a new designation. Pool house, whichever word you want to put first, or garage, /garage. Garage/pool house. A new designation which will take care of both ends of the matter. And that would be it.
That's
You and I
definitely
will
a
have some
possibility.
words.
What's
Any
that?
other
I'm
comments?
sorry?
You and I will have some words.
Oh, yeah,
after this
Excuse me,
meeting. Learn to conduct yourself.
please. Come on up.
Sandy Caputo, Surf Avenue. Thank you, Mayor, for following through with the SPCA, with the trap meter release program. It's going to make a big difference. Thank you to whoever else helped you. And I'll reach out to other people that I know so that we all know what's going on. Yeah, when will it be effective?
Well, we need to have him come in and do the presentation. And then at that point, we already have the memorandum of understanding. So it's a matter of us signing that, and then he'll tell us exactly what we need to do as far as the caregivers. So I can't give you an exact date, but we're gonna be reaching out to him soon, I believe, if not already. Okay? Yeah.
Okay, good.
We'll let you know as soon as it's gonna be effective.
Thank you.
Okay? Any other comments? Yes.
Eugene Creamer, Fourth Avenue. At the last meeting, Mayor, you mentioned that you were contacted by NJDOT regarding the Main Street Bridge.
Yes.
Did any meeting occur? And maybe you can give us an update on it.
Yes, we did, I'm working off my memory, but I kind of remember the salient parts. Yes, they're going to replace the bridge. Actually, the subject of the meeting was whether or not we were we were okay with them. There were two options. They could either demolish the existing bridge and build a new bridge, or they could work around the existing bridge. And I forget what the term was that they used. Do you remember? But the difference was, there was a difference in price, and there was a difference in time that it would take. The preferred action from the DOT was that the bridge just be demolished and a new bridge built. They had a meeting with the officials in Avon, and they kind of agreed that that would be the best thing to do, because it would be quicker, and I think it's like $40 million less money. The
Stage versus detour.
stage versus detour, yeah. The detour one was the one where they would just take the bridge down and they would set up a detour around the bridge. The estimated time to complete the bridge was, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Kane, was 3 years to complete the bridge, 36 months.
three or five,
Yeah.
two options.
The key thing though is this would not be starting until 2028. So that's 5 years from now. And they anticipate it would take another 3 to 4 years to actually complete it. So you're looking at, 2032 before we would have a new bridge. But that was basically the gist of the meeting, was to whether or not we would want to go with the detour plan or the staged plan. And there were some other technical engineering things that were different in different, where they put what would it be, the pilings and stuff. It was they thought it would be better to do the detour, because then they would have full access. They could, work on it. The only twist in that also is the fact that they anticipated there would be a time when the marina would not be able to operate. There would be I don't know if they said a 3 or 4 month period, and that will have to be cleared with the Coast Guard and other people. So, we didn't even really discuss that, except to say that they should do whatever they can to keep naval traffic, shipping traffic open as much as possible. But that was the basis of the meeting, and I think they were going to do some media for some of the businesses and whatnot to kind of let them know what was happening. But that was pretty much it. I don't know, you want to add anything?
No, correct. The gist of it was to get our opinion on which would be better, doing a detour for a shorter period of time, or doing a stage, which would be a longer period of time. They all knew that the marine traffic was a big priority and had to stay open, and it had to deal with the different size openings within the bridge, with one or the other. So they were just trying to get support from both sides of the bridge to do the shorter version, which we agreed would be the better option. But there's a lot of moving parts. They're a long way away from actually doing the work. Yeah, and the detour was just a better bridge also.
Okay. Mayor, you may want to consult with Mayor Bonanno and also former Mayor McGovern. This subject had come up before, and the decision at that time was to try to maintain the businesses on Main Street, because if the bridge gets shut down for any period of time, both towns, both Avon and Belmar, Main Streets will suffer. And I thought there was at least a verbal commitment at that time, and both towns agreed to it. It would be better, would be to build a totally new parallel bridge. And once that bridge was, and that of course would involve some taking of property. On the Belmar side, it would be Ollie Klein's a portion of his parking lot. The other, of course, it would be on the Avon side. I think there's a diver store or something over there. That way, the existing bridge could be used until such time as the parallel bridge was built. Also, as far as Belmar is concerned, you're certainly aware of it, like the rest of us that live up at the north end. The intersection of 5th and Main is a terrible situation, because East Street, I believe, is a one-way up there. With the construction and the buildings that have already been built, we have a canyon effect. You cannot tell whether the bridge is raised and open or whether the roadway is open until you're sitting over by Jersey Mike's, studying their menu from your car. If the parallel bridge was built, that would move the roadway to the west, That would open up that intersection that that Fifth Avenue traffic and River Avenue traffic, for that matter, would be able to see the status of the bridge. Going back some time, there was even discussion of putting flashing lights or notifications on Fifth Avenue. That never happened. The other, if you're thinking about long-term solutions, the advantage of building a parallel bridge, like you've seen it done with the Driscoll Bridge on the Parkway, built an entirely new bridge parallel. In that case, they kept both spans, but if they abandon the existing bridge, then both Avon and Belmar, and remove, of course, the movable span in order to maintain marine traffic. But the town would gain a potential promenade up at the north end on the riverfront. So there are advantages and disadvantages to doing things certain ways. But like I said, it was about 5 years ago, this subject, and I thought the consensus at that time, I know the consensus at that time was the preference to build a parallel bridge. That's all.
Unfortunately, that wasn't one of the options that they presented to us. The other option was, basically building over the existing bridge, but it didn't, it's not the parallel bridge. I understand exactly what you're saying, but they never even discussed that at all.
And I think they said that Avon, they met with Avon first, and that they opted for the detour, so.
Yeah,
whatever.
But I mean, even the other alternative wasn't like a parallel bridge. It was just like,
No.
they would build basically over the existing bridge. I think they said it would be 8 feet higher than if they had knocked it down, but it's still, and it probably would give us a little more time to have traffic, flowing on that Main Street bridge, but ultimately, at some point, that Main Street bridge would have to be taken down, and then the new bridge built, so.
Yeah, of course, the parallel bridge, you would not have to interrupt traffic at all. In any case.
It's 5 years from now, who knows? 2 years from now, they could come back with another plan.
Mayor, I believe that in that meeting, they did say that they were going to do a public information session for the public and the residents and businesses in town once everything is set.
Yeah, and they talked about, on the detour plan that they would, modify some lighting, some traffic lighting and crosswalks and things like that to kind of let the flow. Because the detour plan is basically, going over the Route 35 bridge coming in, off of 8th Avenue, going around and coming down Sylvania Avenue and Avon. So that's the detour plan. And, and we know what also will happen is the detour plan will be going up to Ocean Avenue and across, which means all of our, 5th, 8th, 10th, they're going to get the bulk of the traffic going down to the beach.
Yeah, they also talked about possibility of ferry service, the businesses.
Yeah, like during the summer.
Just to go back and forth across,
Like run a ferry from the Avon building over to where, in the marina, somewhere, and people could then, go from one side of the river to the other, so.
Why did they contact Avon first?
I have no idea.
No, they
They contacted, it was the same day, the meeting was on the same day. Right, yeah, it was, I think they did it by
Doesn't mean they
alphabetical
love
order. Any other questions, comments?
How you doing? Greg Mitchell, 14th and Ocean. I just wanted to say thank you very much for the outstanding job with the veterans banners. It's a personal thing, but you did a great job.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Yes, I think so. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. The only thing I was worried about, I think the last time you said that You're gonna leave them up through like January or something like that? Is that still, and then maybe use them again next year? I have a sneaking suspicion if you leave them up through January, they're not gonna be around for next year, you know what I mean? But that's
Thank you
neither
so
here nor
much.
there.
Thank you.
Great job, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Can I have a motion to close the public session and adjourn the meeting?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.